Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another Bedtime Stories with Dr. Moss. It is a new month. We are now in the month of March. So I'm excited to bring you all another bedtime story. It is also Read Across America Month. So we really want to encourage you all to be reading. Make sure that you're picking up some books, you're reading different things in class, you're retaining information so that we can be strong readers as well. All right. It is the month of March. It is Women's History Month. So I'm so excited to bring you a story that's going to highlight a woman who is someone who made history. And so it's actually someone who loves something that I love as well. And so the story is called The Girl with a Mind for Math. I love math. I used to teach math, so I'm so excited for this story as we read about a girl who had a mind for math. She loved math so very much. And it's the story of Ray Montague. And so I'm not familiar with who Ray Montague is, but I know what? As I read, I'm going to find out everything I need to know about her. So I need you all to sit back, get excited as we embark on this story called The Girl with a Mind for Math, a story of Ray Montague, written by Julia Finley Mosca and illustrated by Daniel Riley. And we know the author wrote all these awesome words, and then the illustrator drew these awesome pictures. So let's go ahead, let's get excited to read our story. If there is something you want, but it seems out of reach, here's a story for you, a great truth it'll teach. When you focus your mind, you'll succeed through and through, like one bold engineer by the name Montague. In a state we call Arkansas, one winter day, a baby was welcomed, a girl they called Ray. She was bright as a star, super smart from the start. She was headstrong, this child, and not faint of heart. Yes, this girl had potential. Her granddad was proud. He told her, "Work hard, you'll stand out from the crowd." Then something she cherished when Ray was just 7, he took her to see her first ship. It was heaven. A real submarine, her eyes opened wide. Who made it? She asked as they followed the guide. Engineers, said the man, giving Ray's head a pat. But my dear, you don't need to know all about that. At the time, the man's insult went over her head. No, you can't, were the words he had meant, but not said. So it seems like this person was trying to let her know that she doesn't need to worry about engineers because that's just not something she'll be able to do. That's not very nice. Engineering, thought Ray, and her life's dream began. Except most people laughed when she told them her plan. Stay strong, said her mom. Use your brains, you'll be fine. There will always be people who pay you no mind. Just because you're a girl and because you are black, don't let them or the state of your school hold you back. Ooh, I love that. You see, schools in those days were what's called segregated. The black and the white students were kept separated. That's wrong, you exclaim. It was dismal, no fooling. And worst of all, white kids received better schooling. And so we're very familiar with this idea of segregation because we know that our school, Bruce, was one of the first four schools to integrate in 1961. And so before October 3rd, 1961, Black students couldn't attend Bruce Elementary School. So it was once a segregated school, and now it is an integrated school where anyone can come to our school regardless of their color. But Ray studied hard. She had grit, taught herself. She was gifted in math and read books by the shelf. When the time came for college, she knew what to choose. She learned to build boats, but she got some bad news. Engineering's not taught to Black students, they said. Her heart hit the floor. I'll take business instead. She learned what she could and she learned the rest later. Their rules were unjust, but that school wouldn't break her. Ray finished with honors. Oh boy, what a smarty. She said her farewells. There was no time to party. I'm off to a place filled with history's greats, the capital city of all 50 states. Now, finding a job, it turned out that took time. She looked and she looked. Ray was not one to whine. Then it must have been fate, at least that's what it seems, as she was hired to type where they built submarines. The Navy, that's right. Oh, but hold all your cheers. Ship designing was only for trained engineers. So she watched as they worked and she learned every task, even studied computers by night in a class. So although she didn't have the dream job, she was watching everyone so she could learn. Then her big break arrived. The whole staff got the flu. Ray did all of her work and the engineers too. Her boss was in shock. How? He exploded. From memory, said Ray, and with that, got promoted. Life should have been swell, yet that wasn't the case. Her boss treated her poorly because of her race. Many people like him tried to make her feel small. Ray just held her head high and she outworked them all. What's next? From the White House, there came a command. The president ordered a ship, make it grand. And quickly he added, well, that didn't fly. All those plans would take engineers months to supply. Here's the thing about that when designing a boat, there are thousands of measurements one needs to note. All those numbers take math, and that takes some time. Ah, but Ray had been working on something sublime. Sublime. She had been working on something very similar that was going to come in handy. She took a deep breath. I can solve this, she said. I've come up with a system to do it instead. It'll draw the plans faster, she told them. Don't fret. I'll design the first ship by computer. No sweat. How long do you think that might take? What's your guess? Would it take her a month, maybe weeks for success? Well, it took calculations and tons of caffeine, but Ray finished in hours, just over 18. So it didn't even take her a full day to figure this out. Her program, it worked. All the blueprints were done. The ship was constructed. The engineers stunned. You did it, they cheered, and her boss had to say that her quick mind for math had in fact saved the day. The end? No, not quite. When Ray's ship was unveiled, only white men could go, and Ray's invite not mailed. Say what? You heard right. No invite? Abhorrible. In fact, some might say it was downright deplorable. So she designed, so let's recap. They told her that she wasn't able to do that because she wasn't smart enough. They felt like she couldn't be an engineer, she couldn't help out. And then her boss, they all treated her badly because she was black. But then she solves the problem and saves the day by creating a boat in hours, and they still won't let her be a part of that. Wow, that is deplorable. Yet Ray kept her cool, gave her best every day, and in time all her skills were applauded. Hooray! People learned of her work. Who's this Ray? They demand. When they met her, they stared. They expected a man. Yes, that happened a lot. Many could not believe that a woman of color did all she'd achieve. Some even thought Ray was a maid, sad but true. When they ordered a drink, she'd say, "Bring me one too." All her humor and wit served her well through the years as she battled the hard times with laughs and not tears. And that boss in the Navy who'd been so unkind made Ray the first woman to lead ship design. More honors would follow. Her fame picked up steam. And finally, at last, she accomplished her dream. That title she'd worked for, an engineer, score! Now the world knows her feats. She is hidden no more. So, she was striving to be an engineer and she met her goal. So the lesson to all is don't ever give in. Take a chance, rock the boat. If it sinks, you can swim. When a storm comes your way, hold your course and don't stress. Never quit. And like Ray, propel straight to success. The end. And so Ray Montague wrote a letter. She says, "Dear readers, if you have a dream like I did, study hard and stay focused. Always remember that just because someone says you can't, that doesn't have to stop you. You might have to go in a different direction and it might take you a little longer, but you can achieve your dreams." From Ray Montague. I absolutely love that message that you shared. And we know that this week we are focused on the core value of achievement. And she was able to achieve so much. She was able to achieve success. She was able to achieve becoming an engineer. She was able to create a boat um, and achieve so much success. And so, if you were unaware of who Ray Montague was, now this is another woman who we can honor during Women's History Month and every single month, who has done a great, great, great job of persevering and making a name for herself and proving people wrong. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. So I hope you all enjoyed our bedtime story this evening. This reminder that tomorrow, to all our parents, hybrid instruction, meaning our scholars who are at home will be logging in at 8:15, and our in-person scholars, we will be starting instruction at 8:15. So please be sure you are ready to go. For our in-person scholars, please be sure you all pick up your babies by 3:30 every single day. And as always, we've had an awesome, awesome, awesome first few days of in-person learning. We're looking forward to having some more awesome days. So thank you to all the parents for your flexibility. Thank you to our teachers who are phenomenal. And if you all watch the news, watch Local 24 in the morning at 6:30, and you all might see a familiar face. So that's all I have for you all. Everyone have a great evening and go Bulldogs.